That's good. You got a good...
It's a fan right here. Beep, beep, beep.
I see that fan.
Boop. Airflow. Boop, boop. Boop.
Well, it looks like we're live.
All right.
I was
The airflow is gone.
I was fondling a fan over here.
What's up to all our sidekicks and henchmen out there in the Geek Nation? You're currently tuning into the CultPop Podcast live stream. I'm your host, Johnny Destructo, owner of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, 4327 Main Street in Manayunk, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. With me this week is omnibus enthusiast Noel Bartocci. Noel, tell the people something.
Hi. I am only here for one thing, and that's to drink my coffee.
What? Just what's in the coffee, Noel?
So it's ground Colombian beans, hot water, steeped, and then 2 shots of Frangelico. I don't know if you guys. It's hazelnut liqueur.
So you're getting crunk.
Yeah. You know what? I'm getting old.
As the kid said 10 years ago.
It's like old lady crunk, though. So, like, first of all, anyone under the age of 35, if you know what Frangelico is, you congratulations. It's that bottle. It's that bottle in the back of like the bar that no one touches. That's really dusty and looks a little bit like a syrup bottle.
Okay.
Looks like it should go on my pancakes.
Exactly. Like it looks like a pancake bottle and no one touches it, but it's delicious, delightful in your coffee. Enjoy it. You're welcome.
I will when you bring me some later today. Also with me this week is extremely man-voiced Brian Lee. B, tell the people something.
Tell them something. Let's see. There was, I heard you say to Noel, tell the people something, and all the various facts in my mind clouded up at once. And what have I got? The Battle of Hastings was on October 8th, 1066. It might have been October 14th, 1066.
Well, if you're not going to tell the people a fact, shut up. If you're not correct.
Yeah.
Look at
Paragon of efficiency, of mental efficiency.
All right. Menelaus was Agamemnon's brother in the Odyssey and maybe Greek history if it was inspired by real things.
What's this maybe shit?
Well, because we just
don't know for sure.
We don't know. Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's in the Odyssey, but what else do we have that says that it's true?
We're going to get on to our correspondence in just a second, but first we have some comments from Christopher Goodnight. So I have an answer to the Wonder Woman / Max Lord question from a couple weeks ago. Max Lord went evil in Justice League versus the Suicide Squad. That's why he was in prison / Wonder Woman distrusts him. He went after the Justice League because he didn't trust superheroes, but he also remembers the timeline in which Wonder Woman killed him because the source wall collapsing revealed it to him.
Yeah.
Holy cats. Thank you, Christopher Goodnight. What an amazing answer to the question that has been plaguing us for a couple of weeks now in the new Wonder Woman storyline from Mariko Tamaki.
Yeah, it was in issue 761. I think he kind of lays it all out. What I thought was super, super cool about it, though, is I think we had said it on the show. It was in current continuity, he's just had beef. But you're using the viewers or the readers remembering of him snapping his neck. But then she revealed that he remembers that shit because the source wall gets knocked down during No Justice, which was really, really cool. It's a good book. Everyone should be reading Wonder Woman right now.
Absolutely. I haven't said that since Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang's run from the New 52.
That was good, right?
I didn't even say it then because it was always late, and I lost the thread on that book altogether until it was collected.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm saying it now, though.
About this run.
About both.
This one. Read all of them.
And best friend of the show, Brandon Jackson Short, says, I like the background. Thank you.
Nice.
Oh, thank
you.
you.
Looking background.
And he also says, what about Ulysses?
What about Ulysses? Well, Ulysses is just the Roman name for Odysseus. So if you're talking about a separate work, then I'm not sure. But otherwise, it's just a translation.
Welcome back to the Greek Literature Podcast. We're here today to talk about the etymology as well as the origins of Ulysses. And go.
So we are here to discuss this week's new comic releases, but first we have some correspondence. Here is a message from Carl Carls. Here is a quick note about messages to the cast of the Cult Pop podcast. If you send us a message and it doesn't explicitly say don't read this on air, we might read it on air, as I'm about to do. Because this was a message, not an email. So it's not technically an email. It was a message to Noel from Carl Carls of Tasmania. So, if you don't want us to read something, tell us not to read it.
Now, we've talked with Carl Carls, so, I mean, Noel will have a chance whether or not this is appropriate to...
There's nothing like inappropriate in the message. It just wasn't worded as an email, so it's like, I think it's fine.
Right.
Maybe it's fine.
But maybe we should air on... I mean, maybe we should say if you tell us that it can be read on air. I mean, who's sending us messages? All right, here we go.
There's like
no,
since
it was read, it was sent to you.
Oh.
Would you like to read it?
Sure.
I have it on hand.
I don't have it up. You do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, we're doing a new thing, viewers, wherein we prepare for the show and we have like a full thing to read from. So we're really trying our best here for you. Carl says, so excited to read Rise of Ultraman. I am a huge fan of Ultraman. When we took our son Henry to Tokyo for his birthday, one of the great pleasures for me was finding the Ultraman store in the character street station.
There it is.
So much amazing Ultraman goodness. We went up Mount Fuji, and I bought an awesome Ultraman commemorative keychain with Mount Fuji on one side and Ultraman on the other. For a kaiju nerd like me, it was just amazingly cool. Toho Studios was also equally amazing. I know it sounds like I'm all about the commerce, but it was just so cool to have access to such amazing things that we otherwise wouldn't be able to see, let alone purchase. So I really like his enthusiasm there.
Yeah.
And I also am now a fan of Ultraman, but we'll get to that in the review later. Noel.
Carl, I just picked this up, Godzilla Half Century War, written and drawn by James Stokoe. 1, have you ever read this as a kaiju nerd? 2, is it good, and should I throw it to the top of the stack? Because I only got it for James Stokoe. I don't know how great it is or isn't. So let me know. Let us know. And we'll report back. Maybe I'll read it by next week.
Yeah. Christopher Goodnight says, I actually like the start of Rebirth, but mainly the flashback issues, which was like every other issue. You got
Wonder
a retelling of Steve crashing on Themyscira and meeting Wonder Woman and her coming to man's world versus Wonder Woman trying to find Themyscira in the present and realizing she had never been back to the island despite her memories. Basically, she learned her life had been a lie. I had not read that. I know there was a big deal for Greg Rucka to come back and do a mainstream Wonder Woman run. In hindsight, I've heard some things about why he did that, and it wasn't really... Didn't seem to me like it was really about the urge to tell a story. And I was immediately put off by that format of here's an issue now, the next issue is in the past. Here's an issue now, the next issue is in the past. And it just didn't make for a pleasant reading experience, so I gave up.
I'm never into that kind of thing. Like, when you're reading a book and chapters will bounce back, like always, sometimes you get into it right away, but there's always that moment of like, we gotta switch gears.
That was one of those situations that like sounded great on paper, but in hindsight just didn't work. Like the idea was that he had 2 artists that were notoriously not really able to keep a monthly schedule. Mm-hmm. So it was like, this is perfect. I have 2 stories I want to tell. We'll tell them concurrently, and it's going to be great. Skip months. Because it was Liam Sharp and someone else. And the only reason why Liam Sharp could do monthly now with Green Lantern is because they started that shit forever ago and they built breaks in it.
Right.
But yeah, it was like you got really into something, and then the next month it was a different story altogether. And then again,
was the other artist Nicola Scott?
Maybe.
I thought it was. Anyway, well, I'm thinking about her recently because for our store book club, which we do every Tuesday or every other Tuesday night at 8:00, this upcoming Tuesdays we're going to be doing Black Magic from Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott. And I was wondering if that's maybe how they came together, was the Wonder Woman John. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get on to the books. Dark Knight's Death Metal Trinity Crisis #1 from Scott Snyder and Francis Manapul. With Superman freed up from his new Apocalypse prison, the classic Trinity lineup is back together and ready to rock their next gig. Get it? Because it's like a band. Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman amp up their power to launch an assault on Castle Bat. And that's just the warm-up act. 3 walking nightmares are hidden deep inside the fortress, but these dark multiverse versions of the Anti-Monitor, Superboy Prime, and Darkseid hold the key to humanity's survival. The Justice League have to face down their old nemesis. But will round 2 be the end for our heroes? Definitely. It'll definitely be the end. And that'll be no more DC Comics. That'll be it. Done.
I mean, if the next 5 issues of this series is just like a coda of what to do when they're all dead,
yeah,
I'm cool with that. I'll be fine with that.
Well, like you might enjoy these other types of stories. High fantasy would be for you.
Here's what would have here's what would have happened if they didn't die. But they're dead.
Also, hi, Samuel David. He popped in. He says hello.
Hello.
So, all right. My quick 2 cents on this book is that this should 100% have been part of the main Dark Knight's Death Metal miniseries. This should not be a one-shot. It should absolutely be the next issue in the arc, which, chronologically it is. But the problem is you get a lot of people who wait for, or I'm sorry, they skip the ancillary titles, the one-shots and the other mini-series, and all they do is focus on the main series. So it's my job as a retailer to be like, this is super important, and I'm definitely going to order this for you and put it in your bin because you need it. But not every retailer might do that, and you might be missing out on a pretty important part of the story. What did you guys think, Noel?
Well, I agree with your assessment. This was every other tie-in issue that we've had for Death Metal thus far has been like an anthology series or like a side story and has really affected the main plot. This was essentially issue 4. Mm-hmm. It directly leads from where they left off in issue 3, and then now the side quest completely with your main 3 characters. So it was like, okay. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I love Francis Manapul's art, and sometimes it depends on. Sometimes it's scratchy or rushed, but if it's beautiful, it's beautiful. I loved the look of this book, and I just had really fun with the story. Look, if somebody like put a gun to my head and asked me to recap the entirety of the plot of this of Death Metal, right? I can't do it. It would be really, really hard to do it, but I think I'm getting it. I think I'm getting it, and I think I like it. Yeah. But it's convoluted, but in a fun way. And it's like really close to maybe being annoying, but it's not there yet. And I'm still enjoying it. Like the idea that they have to go back into each crisis to steal the crisis energy of their victories in order to battle Perpetua, who feeds. It's so weird. It's so weird. I love it.
So yeah, basically Perpetua, the being who is in charge of the entire multiverse, and listen, she's kind of a dickbag. She feeds off the energy that is created by the crises that DC keeps falling into, and so they are going to these previous versions of those crises in order to get the energy and siphon it away from Perpetua, right?
So here's the thing. That's what it seemed like up until this issue. But they say something where somebody, the Batman Who Laughs or whomever, created 3 worlds. Jaro? He's great in this issue. He's a lot of fun in this issue. So they created 3 worlds where these crises are perpetually happening that
like
she
batteries.
is feeding off of. Yeah, as opposed to going back in time to the... I guess they can't go back in time because when these things happen, reality alters, including the timeline. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, it's like she created these bottle cities or bottle Earths where the crisis is constantly happening to fuel her, which is slightly confusing because if you in other books, it's revealed that her throne is powered by members of the Legion of Doom, which happened during Justice League. So like she's using people and things and universes as batteries all over the John, whatever.
That's her thing.
But yeah, it's her thing. It's her thing. She turns things that shouldn't be batteries into batteries.
Yeah.
But the reveal at the end of this issue where are we spoiling it? Are we on spoiler alert?
Yeah.
Do you want me to spoil it? where they get to like the Trinity gets to each Earth where each crisis occurred. That's Crisis on Infinite Earths, Final Crisis, and Infinite Crisis. Not in that order. They get to the Earth because they're gonna just like steal some energy and bounce. But each Earth is if the crisis they didn't win. So you've got for the Infinite Crisis one, you've got Superboy Prime being just like all powerful badass. They know about Perpetua. They're there to just kind of keep things terrible so it keeps getting power. So like that's such an obvious thing that should happen because they need these crises to continue. So of course Perpetua rigged the board and made each one a loss, like in these alternate universes. So I thought that was kind of funny. This was just fun. Also, too, I gotta say I really loved the Barbados.
Like, yeah, that was cool.
Superman punched him in the mug.
Yeah. But the idea that like up until now we haven't heard at all about the main bad guy of the previous the previous event, which is this is a direct sequel to. So I was just like, oh, he's chained up in the bot. Like this is a way to tell the reader that the stakes for last time are fucking child's play. And now this is like, that big thing you had a problem with before. Yeah. Oh, he's just a pet. Have fun. Like I thought that was really cool too. Yeah. I
also liked his take on it. Like, hey, this is you guys came up with this stuff. These are your dark imaginings. I like Swamp Thing as well. I just thought he had a cool nothing crazy, nothing earth shattering. I just liked his sort of drawing the green into him, and now he's got all of the green and is but presumably if something happens to him, he's gone. Oh, it's Noel. It's just Noel and I. Oh, I never learned patty cake.
I mean,
oh no.
We were patty caking.
We were.
Anyway.
Man. Anyway, so I love Francis Manipul's art, and so I agree. It definitely seems like it should be part of just Death Metal number 5. But you know who I like a lot more than than the Batman Who Laughs for some reason is the Robin King. Now, I'm not putting him in my top 10 list or anything, but I'm not like every time the Batman Who Laughs appeared, I always thought, ugh. Whereas with the Robin King, I don't think that.
Well, you know what I think it's so the Batman Who Laughs was kind of like it's Bruce Wayne all the way up until a point. Mm-hmm. This version of Bruce Wayne, the Robin King, he's always been a sociopath or a psychopath, actually, not a sociopath. So it's kind of weird. It's less. It feels a little bit more organic as him being just this nasty little kid.
He's like an evil universe's Bruce Wayne. Well, not an evil universe, but a universe which has an evil Bruce Wayne.
Hey, there it is.
Hey, all right.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
We did it!
Oh, am I frozen?
No.
You are!
Yes, but we can still hear you. So don't let on for the audio-only listeners. Jonah Hex disappearing was a very cool artistic scene as well.
Yeah, this was like this was fun. The art was great. It propelled the plot. Mm-hmm. It was emotionally satisfying, and the cliffhanger was fun. Again, this is a vital issue in the the whole death metal story. Yeah, if people were enjoying it and didn't pick this up, they really should have.
Definitely. It seems necessary too. Like these are the next things that happen. They wind up in the place that they spoke of as their goal last issue.
It's so weird.
Yeah. Oh, the Crisis on Infinite Earths one especially looks cool, I think. With the Anti-Monitor is everything, and he kind of ensconces Batman. Yeah. And
of all the characters to be there, Batman's probably the least equipped, like having to deal with the Anti-Monitor.
To go up against an entirety of a universe.
Yeah, you're fighting the manifestation of existentialism. Like, what? And you're just a dude.
Although, power levels, maybe it's more about psychology at that point.
I mean, I'm sure that's what Scott Snyder wants you to think.
He's always trying to play us like fiddles.
So this month was always supposed to be kind of a skip month for death metal. And by skip month, I mean, it's just like the main book wasn't coming out and it was a bunch of these one shots. This one's awesome.
I have a feeling the next two are also. I think these three are all very important. Speed Metal and
Multiverse's End. I think it is, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean they reference Speed Metal in this one, and I have a feeling like the Darkest Night is going after the Flash family. I think it will be important, at least. Hello.
Yeah, hi, JD.
No.
Oh no, sorry. I was saying hello to.
Hi, Melissa. I think you know what I have been really appreciating too, like in the solicits or in the because I'm a nerd, I read the solicits of like what's coming. Mm-hmm. They have been saying, or they do say for certain series, like this is important to the event. So like the Justice League tie-in that's coming in, there's just like it literally says in the description like what happens in this book affects the main event. Like
really?
I was like I kind of appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Like, I know not to skip this.
Sweet. Yeah. That's the upcoming Justice League arc, or after
the upcoming arc by Joshua Williamson and Zermanico. Like I think it's just like a 5-issue tie-in. It's it looks like it's following, or it is following. You know how in the last issue of Death Metal they freed all the heroes that were stuck on Apocalypse.
Yes.
So like Nightwing and stuff.
Yeah.
It's them going on a mission to help the other guys. So like they have to go, I think, free the Justice or the Legion of Doom. So it's from the
everything. Throne.
Yeah, everything feels like it's being set up for like a good old fashioned Empire Strikes Back kind of ending where you've got a battle on 3 fronts. So 3 teams doing something each that have to kind of like all coalesce.
And that team will probably be teamed up with the Legion of Doom, I imagine. Because this is one of those events. You know, one of those like, hey, our past differences aside, we got to stop this Perpetua guy.
Good guys and bad guys.
Yeah. That's always, I like that. Yeah.
But anyway, thumbs up to Trinity Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
3 thumbs up.
It's great.
You can manage it.
So what I was trying to do there was I'm streaming from Firefox, and I was trying to show the comic, share the monitor of the comics, but I couldn't do it. So I went over to Google Chrome, which I could do it, but then the video froze up.
Yeah.
It's infuriating. Streaming is hard, y'all.
I hear you.
So back to the notes. I will intro the next thing. As soon as there's too many tabs open. How you guys doing?
I'm good. I mean, comics are fun, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I read. I've been sitting on it for a while. This is completely not scripted and out of the blue. I gave on your recommendation, JD, because I had been sitting on them and hadn't read them yet. Charles Soule's Darth Vader. It's very good.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's very, very good. It's literally the second after he gets birthed and does the no. Like that's the first panel of the entire book. Yeah. Which it doesn't bode well. but it's about him. Like no one else in the Empire knows who he is, and this guy just comes and starts giving orders, so they all hate him. He has no lightsaber yet, so he has to find a kyber crystal and create a lightsaber. There are still remnants of Jedi that are out there and like trying to hide information. Like it's a really good book. I was like, holy shit.
Cool.
This is awesome.
I told you.
Yeah, it's really good.
Brandon says Scott Snyder has said that those are the real characters, by the way. So that was the real Darkseid, real Superboy Prime, etc.
Question about that then also. Why does Darkseid look as he does? Did anybody have an answer to that? Like he's
powered up, right? So that's supposed to be the Final Crisis version of.
Oh wait, hang on a second. That you are correct. So you've also got like a Darkseid masked or headed Superman, whom I was wondering who that was, but I guess that is just the Superman of that universe. I thought that was Darkseid, the same guy that you see in the next panel. And I was like, what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Yeah, you do see them in the background. Very good. Asked and answered.
All right. Scrolling. So another big event is going on right now, which is wrapping up from Marvel Comics called Empyre. And 2 one-shots, wrap-up issues came out this week. In the same way that the storyline started with 2 lead-in books, Avengers and Fantastic Four, we are now exiting with Avengers and Fantastic Four. So Empyre Aftermath, Al Ewing, Valerio Schiti. In the aftermath of the cosmic conflict, the forces gather one last time. But why? And at whose bidding? New bonds will be forged, new families will be founded, and there's a new role waiting for Earth. But new destinies bring new dangers and new enemies. Welcome to the new Marvel Space Age, true believer. Hope you survive the experience. I mean, yeah.
I hope so too.
I also hope
we,
that.
the readers?
I don't
Why
want
would
to
we not
direct it at us?
survive?
What? I mean, we shouldn't read this, guys.
Has
It's
there
too
ever
late.
been has there ever been a cliffhanger where you're just like, my heart?
So this is Aftermath. What did you guys think of this, Brian?
All right, are we discussing these as one? That's what's happening now? You said this is Aftermath. I just want to make sure, because I have Fallout up.
So let's talk about Aftermath.
Let's
and then
do
we'll
it.
do Fallout.
All right, I'm down. I enjoyed it. I thought both of them were cool. Let's see. What happened in Aftermath? They got married. I love the line. So Hulkling and Wiccan had already been married, but it was a quick, they just really wanted to get it done in Vegas kind of thing. And so now they have, the ceremony with all of their friends and whomever. So that was nice. That was a good time. I like the line the rabbi says, well, this is the first outer space, maybe interspecies gay wedding that I've ever officiated, but I hope it's not the last. Yeah. So I thought that was a pretty cool line. Yeah, it was great. You know what stood out to me? The work, it just happened to catch my eye. There's no way you'll be able to see what I'm talking about on this screen.
Oh, yeah.
It's what is it? The Skrull homeworld explodes. The way they're like the little tiny line work that's done in the kind of mid reaches or outer reaches of that explosion is just an interesting way to do an outer space explosion, and it caught my eye. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, if this artist Valerio Schiti is using Procreate or Photoshop or Manga Studio, that is a predetermined brush which makes all of those for you. So you can make those little lines bigger or smaller, but as you put that digital brush to the paper, it will just make them for you.
I see. That's an interesting look, and it's an interesting choice to use that for an energy sort of expression in outer space. So yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. Not a lot happens, but it was just like a feel good issue.
I disagree.
Oh,
I think
okay.
tons happens. Tons.
Okay.
Yeah. First of all, I agree. I liked it a lot. I agree with you. It was really fun. And this is the same artist that did the event, and I feel like this is like the best art-wise issue. And it's the coda, it's the aftermath that some people might end up skipping. But tons of stuff happened. I loved, like, the main point of this book was to set up stuff for the future without it being tacked on really quickly to the end of the last issue. And I love what they did with Brand. What's her first name?
With the grandmother?
Abigail.
Oh,
Abigail
Brand. Yeah.
So the whole idea that she has been trying to function as, or like she has been trying to get Sword to function in an effective capacity. But
so what Sword is, for the people who don't know, is basically an outer space version of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is to protect the Earth from, Marvel cosmic threats.
Yeah. So Sword was disbanded, then it became Alpha Flight with Carol, and this whole time Abigail Brand has been a member and trying her damnedest to make it function, and it just keeps not working. And to her, it's basically because all of these fucking hot dogs and superheroes who just, their compulsion is to take care of it themselves. And it's just like, you're causing more harm than good. And it's set up.
Seem to succeed, though.
They always
it always works.
I mean, it works, but is it efficient? Is it effective?
True.
Is it ideal? No. So
can I say also, it was inappropriate for her to bring up a grievance with a guest at somebody else's wedding, causing a scene. Hulkling didn't do anything. Wiccan didn't do anything.
Millions of people died. I think her slap to Carol's face was, yeah. It was
she
bad.
wanted to do it in front of everybody else. You think?
Yeah.
That was fun. All right, go on.
Oh no, it was wonderful. I liked it a lot. This was a really, really fun issue. The art was great. The stakes were great. It showed the future and how Sword or whatever, or what do they call themselves? How Abigail Brand is going to create something else that is going to be in direct conflict with the Avengers. And I think that that's awesome. That could happen next year. It could happen 5 years from now, because it doesn't seem as though this is the story that Jason Aaron is telling. So maybe it's something for further on down the road, but it's still really cool. I like it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, me too. I think both of these books kind of do a setup sort of thing. Like that's their major purpose, and I enjoyed both. I'm curious to see. I like that Wiccan is the court wizard of the new Empire now, the whatever they call the Kree Skrull Empire. That's a cool place for him to be. And if I was him, I'd be pretty happy. I'd be like, all right, sweet. I am now the court wizard of this empire. That's a nice. I hang out with my husband, love of my life. This is great. I'm happy for him. Found a good spot.
Yeah, this was just like I think I'd already said it for other shit, but this is a coda to the event.
Yeah,
but it felt much more necessary than these books usually do. Like, it was just really fun. But I think you had mentioned that you liked Fallout more, so let's talk about that really quick.
I think I did. Yeah.
So Empyre Fallout, written by Dan Slott, with art by Sean Izaakse. I'm gonna mess that up. Izaakse? It's okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
The fate of all future Kree Skrull Wars is placed in the hands of Reed Richards and his family, the Fantastic Four. What? This is no standard issue of a Marvel comic, true believer. 2 major turning points in the entire Marvel universe will take place here. Also in this issue, the Profiteer returns, but is she here for revenge or justice? And a special appearance by the most ominous cosmic character of them all, the Unseen. So why did you like this one a little bit more?
Well, so here's the thing. Are we spoiling what happens at the end?
Yeah, let's just do it.
Okay. So that was only part of it. I just, to do it chronologically in the narrative, I like this story. I think I like the Fantastic Four and those characters a little bit more than the Avengers and those characters. But it was nice. It was, again, I'm trying to go through and see what it was. Oh, right. The Profiteer shows up, does not provide them an answer, and takes a payment for... I thought that was an unwise deal. Well, they're like, all right, you tacitly can have whatever you want. Oh, it's these power crystals? Sure.
The answer being, I don't know. Yeah,
True.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
And that itself is important. Like, she's so knowledgeable.
Paint the whole picture. So, like, the Katati had these weapons that were able to fell both the Kree and the Skrull, the most advanced war races in the galaxy. And they were able to do it easily with these weapons that no one else had seen before. So the Profiteer, who was introduced in previous issues of the Fantastic Four, one of the elders of the universe, up there with the Collector.
I think in the lead-in to
that's right.
Empire. Yeah.
They bring her in to identify the weapons, and she's unable to, but she takes all their power crystals. So we've got this mysterious conceit now with how did this ancient race, with no one knowing, gets these weapons that predates everything else.
Right. They're very mysterious. Yeah, so I thought it was a good setup.
What's the turning points that they're talking about? So also too, the Unseen, which we haven't seen.
There is one other thing before we get to that. I really liked what Thor's part in this was, where Franklin also comes along in the Invisible Woman. I thought it was a cool ending to the Kotati's story, at least for now, where Thor, we didn't get to see it, I guess, but he went on a journey and he obtained the blessing of Gaia, his mother, the Earth Mother, And so he used that to turn the tide a little bit in the last issue. But here, they take the Kotari so far away that they'll never, they have no idea where they are. They'll never be able to get back. And what's his name? Koi?
Koi.
Yeah. He's like, oh, so you drop us here on this barren land? Great. You guys suck. And then Thor says, well, actually, I'm going to give you this blessing. And he turns it into a verdant land of greenery, giving up this, he had this new power, this new bounty of his that he is giving over to them, this defeated enemy, so that they can live well. And then he seems a little shitty about Koi is like, oh, no ships, huh? It's like, why would you even want to go back? All the animals are over there. You don't like them, But I thought it was it's a great ending to that kind of story. A gracious and noble sort of ending.
Todd Engel says, you said lots happened. So what happened besides Brand? Look here, semantics, McGee. I thought it was big enough to say loads. Loads happens. I mean, the wedding happens. Everyone out there happens. They set up the new status quo for the Kree Skrull Empire.
Kl'rt and Glari they have their new, they've been
I was going to say,
with diplomacy.
Which is awesome. You've got the bread for war Kl'rt being put on a desk, not unlike, Vic Mackey in The Shield. The one place where it would be torture. Well, spoil the ending for you. Right. It's only about a decade or so old.
I probably won't watch it anyway.
and Glari being like, throw me in prison, bro. You're going to need me eventually. Which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it was a good book, but this one specifically that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
So
then,
there's
the Unseen.
There's new Fantastic Four kids.
Oh, that part was great too.
Mentioned.
Where they, you think it's going to be. I hadn't even pictured who would be the parents, I guess, of the Kree and the Skrull kids, but I was just sort of picturing they're being raised by the Fantastic Four now. But I guess they assumed it would be Reed and Sue. And now it's Ben and Alicia, and that's a heartwarming moment. That's great.
Yeah, that was fantastic because I mean, they already did the Future Foundation 5 times since Hickman, and just another set of kids running around with them was not a story that's already been told 1,000 times.
Sure.
So we just we get now domesticated Ben and Alicia, which is awesome.
And presumably they would still be around pretty similarly to how the other kids were around. In that the four hang out a lot, the Fantastic Four.
Sure.
So, but the subtle difference of it being Ben, that is the dad, and Alicia is the mom, obviously.
In hindsight, they set it up so obviously, but still, it was fun.
Yeah.
But okay, bearing the lead altogether.
Right.
The Unseen, who is post Original Sin, Nick Fury, killed Uatu, took Guy, the original Watcher,
and he was cursed to be the Unseen, right?
His curse is to fill in the role of the Watcher while there is none. He can't. Essentially the Watcher, just the Unseen,
right? And nobody knows, right? When people look at him, they kind of have a Hal Jordan as the Spectre early on thing, where they can't really Wolverine. Is he looks familiar, but I don't know who that is.
Yeah, they get a sense or almost just an active deja vu of this thing out there, this person. I should know who he is, but I don't.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But his eye explodes and Uatu comes out of it.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you what. When I started reading this, I like Uatu, the Watcher, a lot. He's this big abstract, sort of concept of a character. And when the Unseen shows up, I was like, he's cool. He does the same thing. He shows up when a big event is happening, and that's cool. But, oh, man, when's Uatu coming back? He's been gone for a while. and hopefully he will soon. And there he is, right at the end. He pops out of his eye.
Had you ever read She-Hulk by Dan Slott?
No, I haven't.
So, I had not either. This references something that he's been trying to get done for the last 20 years at Marvel.
Is this The Reckoning?
Yep, the Reckoning War.
Yeah.
Every time somebody says something like that, or She-Hulk causes this thing, and it was part of that run, and he just would constantly pitch it and hasn't really gained traction. But apparently, The rumor is that he's finally being able to do it in the Fantastic Four book, a large event.
Oh.
So this whole idea of resetting the board with the pieces that were necessary for his Reckoning War, this is like the start of it because Uatu was a part of it.
That's
so
cool.
bringing people back from the dead, doing this, doing that, like setting it up so he can do this event hopefully sometime in the near future.
I'm into a big event being done with the Fantastic Four as a central piece, because they've been off the board for a while for kind of marketing reasons, I think, company brinksmanship.
Technically, I think this was supposed to be that, but it did feel much more like an Avengers event.
It was, I felt like at least both, it was, they were a big part of it, but Reed saying Avengers Assemble was cool too. In what was that, the other book?
I liked this, and I like where it could go, but I'm perpetually kind of wishy-washy about Dan Slott in general. So, I mean, sometimes I love it, sometimes I really don't. So, fingers crossed.
What do you think, JD?
We are on Fallout now?
We are. But if you have something to say about Avengers.
I like both of them. I thought they were just like the first two run-in or lead-in issues for Empyre were way better than I anticipated. I felt similarly about these lead-out issues. And this whole Empyre, while it's not my favorite event, it was a very pleasant experience. I really enjoyed everything that I read. That being said, I skipped a couple of the ancillary miniseries like Captain America. And again, I'm kind of curious about what was supposed to happen in that Thor Empyre miniseries.
This does seem like what he does here is really cool, and I would like to see the journey of how he got that blessing of Gaia, that ability.
Yeah.
So apparently they're going to make an omnibus of this next year, next April, May. They kind of like pre-announced it, and it said including unreleased material. So a lot of that stuff that was already kind of written just wasn't printed yet. That kind of fell off the wayside during COVID. I think a lot of that work is already is done, if not almost complete. So there was a Thor miniseries, there was a Spider-Man miniseries, there was a couple of other one-shots.
There was like
the
a
Wakanda one.
Yeah.
All of those presumably will be included in this larger tome. If you ever wanted to read
cool.
that.
That is cool.
Which I thought was kind of nifty. Like and also too, like all of those artists and writers already worked on that shit and were paid for it. So it's cool to just see it in some sort of print.
Yeah. What do you think about the Watcher, JD? Are you? It doesn't seem like he would be your favorite character, but
as somebody who really hated that event,
Original Sin.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I hated it so much. It was so boring, and I just couldn't care about it.
I don't think I even finished it.
I liked it.
I feel like I'm glad that, I mean, it's cool that they're referencing it, and maybe they're going to be making some changes to what the outcome was. I'm kind of curious to see it moving forward.
Well, that's why I would think you would. Like, I was always like, the Unseen is fine. He's a stand-in for the Watcher, though, and I want the Watcher.
Just give us the Watcher.
Unseen guy is not.
Maybe this also means that we're going to get Nick Fury or OG Nick Fury back too.
Possible.
I didn't miss him, but yeah.
I mean, I did. I mean, I don't think he's a replacement for current Nick Fury, but the idea of the old grizzled war hero from the 40s, I do enjoy in the room with the conversation, like him and Wolverine.
Or him and Cap,
conversations at a diner.
Yeah.
That's awesome, and I do miss that.
All right. Yeah.
Let's move on to Stealth number 5 from Mike Costa and Nate Bellegarde. Can Detroit survive an all-out war between the lunatic Dead Hand and an out-of-control Stealth? Meanwhile, the men in the light are tired of Stealth's son, Tony, asking the wrong questions. ... That,
Oh, doesn't look good for Tony.
I 100% have been enjoying this book. I think that everyone should be reading this book. I think it's a lot of fun. I really like the writing. I really like Nate Bellegarde's art. And I like the theme of the book and what's going down. I really am appreciating the entire series. What did you guys think? Brian?
I really enjoyed it. I hadn't realized I was one issue behind until very late last night, and I was like, "Oh man, I've got to power through issue 4 before I read issue 5 because it's really good, and I don't want to skip ahead." And it is so readable. I just I started issue 4, and before I knew it, I was like, "Oh, I'm already done." It's now we're on to it, and it's great. It's such an engaging book. Like JD said, the art is amazing. It's excellent storytelling in the art. I just happen to page through to this where Stealth is kind of pointing out of panel at the thing that you were looking at in the next panel, and it's an easy flow of motion to read. We get a little backstory, or the backstory, on who the Dead Hand is. Yeah. That seems like a movie shot that I don't quite remember which one it is.
Bellegarde. So I'm worse than you. Mm-hmm. I haven't read since issue 2.
Ooh.
So last night I read issue 3, 4, and 5, mm-hmm. and this book is beyond the stars. This is so spectacular because it's not just the story that's engaging. Bellegarde's art is amazing. Mm-hmm. Like the shots that he creates and the very clearly he's taking what a lot of people think is a weakness of a sequential storytelling in art, like where an artist will repeat a panel to save time and just change a word balloon or a grimace on the same exact figure. It's like a shortcut. He's swerving into that and creating scene transitions between panels by showing you repeated repeated frames or like I think it was issue 3 where our main character, who is suffering from dementia, is getting ready to leave. He puts on a coat, gets his keys, and it's all like in sequential. It's all sequential. And then the third panel in, he's wearing a different coat. And then 2 panels later, he's just like, "I thought I put on my coat. I'm wearing Nate's coat.
Yeah,
it's okay." The unreliable narrator is showing through the art, and he's doing it in a very, very, very slick and fun way. And it's the kind of attention to detail that you don't usually get, or at least not done as well. I love this book. This book is great.
It's speaking of the dementia. Also, this last issue is the first one I noticed that he is aware of the fact that he is sliding into dementia, which is heartbreaking. But in a narrative form, it's also very interesting to see him know that and see those internal processes. There's a constant stream of consciousness of him trying to piece together real and fake, and it's something that I think it was in the early issues, but it really came into more play like around issue 4 and 5, where he's in action and trying to remember that Eric, the uncle that was helping him, is no longer around. Right.
Eric will fix it.
Right.
Eric, he can't. Eric's gone. These constant like backs and forths in his head while he's actively trying to fight off goons or catch.
And here he says, "I hope that's not a memory from 20 years ago." So he knows. Yeah. I'll tell you, this also is not the kind of story that I would usually care about at all. Like, it's like guy in a suit, fairly street level. That's not the kind of thing that really grabs me. Even the story about the father going through dementia, maybe not, but it's just so well done in writing and in art that I find myself really liking it.
So I know that you sometimes, it's unfair to say that you grimace at dark or gritty stories. I think it's more along the lines when a character that's not that's not open like that is drawn into that. So
exactly, that's what.
This is a heavy story, but it's done in a action-packed, colorful way. Mm-hmm. Is it more palpable? Like, is the heavy shit more palpable because it's not a gritty-looking book? It's just kind of like tonally.
No, I think you were exactly right. That it's a lot of stuff. The stuff that we talk about in the show, anyway, is stuff that when it was a happier, shiny character that gets drawn into that kind of thing, that I'm not too into. But also, yeah, there are certain types of darkness in stories that I'm not drawn to at all, or that I don't really get into. And yeah, maybe the kind of brightness of the art does make me want to read more about it. I was also the main character, or Tony, the son, is a journalist, and in the first issue, he writes this really cool set of prose in the beginning. So that set me off to be like, oh, this is awesome. And that prose was also, I mean, it was pretty
it wasn't dark. It was very elegant. It was very eloquent, but it wasn't a happy story he was telling about Detroit at all.
No, not at all. But it set the tone for what this story would be. But also, I mean, like, Lucifer is one of my favorite books, and that is so that it's not like I don't like. It's hard. That's also a very cosmic book, whereas this is a darkness of a very street level variety, and street level is not usually the kind of thing that I'm drawn to either. But the art makes it feel so vibrant that it doesn't feel as street level. Yeah,
the character designs and the art are just so good. Yeah, and like the book itself is incredibly violent, but it's not. I mean, it's gratuitous in so much as it shows you the violence, but it's not gratuitous in violence for violence sake. You know? Yeah. Like,
it's not just like they don't go crazy slaughtering an entire team of 20 people and you see each one, but you do see one guy's leg take the right angle shape of Stealth's foot as it goes through it, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, like it's a very good use of violence to show impact, as opposed to just because you like blood and guts. Like it adds gravitas to the whole story.
And Stealth is a very violent character, and I think that that's important for the story that they're telling now. Is that Stealth, when he premiered, was of that type of comics character that he is. You know, he's not Superman. He needs to beat the hell out of these guys in order to not die himself. And now that he is in a mental state where that kind of violence, well, both may have caused the mental state or been part of it, but also is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, so there's a bit of an ongoing mystery as to either the cause or the exacerbation of his dementia. The son, Nate, is the son's name Nate? I forget. Nick,
I think the son's name is Tony.
Tony, sorry, I forget his name, but he has a theory that the suit itself from unknown origin is perhaps causing his dementia. But then you've got the Black Hand saying stuff like, "We hit him in the head
like a lot. Yeah,
a lot.
He's gone through like a decade, of
shit ton of trauma.
Right.
Yeah,
2 decades, I think, actually.
Football player with minimal pads times 20. Right.
I mean, I could easily see it being one of those like. No, some people just get dementia, you know.
Well, I mean, that was a really great turn in Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 5. The body, the idea that all of these characters are taken away from us by supernatural means, and her mother just died of a brain aneurysm. Yeah, that's it. Nothing, and it was much more impactful too, because it was just like, you can't stop that. Yeah. No matter how strong you are, no matter how prepared you are, sometimes illness just happens, which I think would probably be a really good. I mean, I hope it's not. I don't know. I'm just excited to see where this goes. Yeah.
Me too. There was, I think this really illustrates what we were talking about earlier. This panel, you don't get the vibrancy of the colors coming through, but it's what Dead Hand is burning this man's face and killing him. And it is done in this like classic 50s style comic. There's a heavy 50s influence with this whole style, but very modernized. But it feels like an homage to that. But it's this incredibly violent thing that's happening. Also, that cop, I was like, well, it's not going well for this guy.
I do love the subtle commentary about it too, though, of hiding from a black man by giving yourself to the police.
Yeah.
Because no matter who the actual aggressor is.
Yeah.
It was really,
Yeah.
But JD, you're here just in time to
Well, I have a
cue in
question.
the next book if you want.
What is the implication of the last panel of the issue?
I don't know. I reread it like 3 times. The
I was
last 2 pages. I think it's him misremembering. We have to remember every time that we see those specific word balloons or those text boxes are from him. They're always unreliable.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a jarring scene change away from anything that's happening before. I think we're in his fugue state. I think we're in his misremembering.
Okay.
Well,
I kept looking at the panel expecting to find like what the twist is or what the problem might be. But he's just, he's fighting a bunch of gang members. He's kicking one guy in the neck.
I have a feeling an extra.
Oh, they are fighting each other. There's like the guy tried to stage a coup of Dead Hand's organization, and now gangs are at war with one another. And I think he has noticed this, and he's going to get involved. But I think, Noel, you're also right that what we are seeing might not be what is actually happening right now.
Because it seems like the time of day changed, the color kind of changed. I think it's going to be revealed that that's not necessarily who he's kicking.
It's just, but that's what I'm saying is that seems like that would be the reveal at the end of the issue. Not they're going to reveal something in the beginning of the next issue.
I don't know. It was weird, but it didn't kill it.
Yeah.
It's also, you guys notice there's like a double lining on some of it gives you the sense that there's a mental thing happening there.
Yeah.
When this is collected, it's going to be something that should be shared constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, read this, book clubs, all of it. Read this. Yeah, this is great.
All right, let's move on to Marauders number 12 by Jerry Duggan and Matteo Lally. Red Reckoning. The Black King removed the Red Queen from the board. What move will the White Queen make? So, I had missed the last issue, and Kate Pryde is one of my favorite X-Men, and she has been getting better and better throughout the ages. She's absolutely my favorite, and she died. There was no bringing her back. Not going to do it. She's every mutant is able to be resurrected, but not Kate. Can't do it. And then, of course, they did it.
They did it.
But I like the way they did it. I don't fully understand how they did it, other than phasing had to be part of the process because Kate's power is to phase through things. Brian, explain it to me.
I think. Oh, also, I have another thing that I was hoping to share last month, and I'm glad it came up again. I think it was that everybody, in order to break out and come back to life, all of these reborn mutants physically break out of the egg that egg creates. So she wasn't doing that. Like, her body's natural response is to phase out of things. But it didn't know to phase, but it also didn't have the impetus to like bust out of a shell.
So if you think about it, there are 17 other carcasses that were functioning, that were discarded.
That just didn't, and we still don't know why she can't get through the gateways.
Yeah, I thought it was related, but it's not.
Or maybe it is, and we just don't know how, or who knows.
Yeah, Nightcrawler even takes a second to be like, how many times? 8?
So, do you want to know why? This is the fun fact that I hope to share. The number 18 is very important in Jewish mysticism and mythology, and the reason for that is that Hebrew letters are numbers, and so there's a lot said and made of what the letters in a word add up to, right? And 18 is given if Jewish people will give a gift, so a lot of times it's in like $18 increments or something with the number 18. And it's just considered a very positive and lucky number. And it means life, right? L'chaim means life. And that is also something that Jewish people will say at a very positive, happy event. L'chaim means life, and that adds up to 18. So when Kitty was trying to come back to life, and on the 18th try it worked, and she is Jewish, and Kurt says, what number was that? And she says 18, actually. And he kind of pauses, and they say, something wrong. And he's like, no, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
That is why it was very fitting for it to be the number 18. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Do you think that it was a little bit too on the nose for him to hand her Star of David in the same conversation? Like, was it too illustrative?
No,
it
he didn't do that till this issue.
Oh, I know. I mean, the conversation you're referring to of him asking how many numbers, that happened this issue.
No, that was last issue.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, that was issue 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember because I was excited to share it with JD.
I also thought it was this issue.
Yeah.
But it's not in this issue. It's in the past issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been holding on to this for a month since JD didn't read it.
So Christopher St. Saucy Good Night says, "Oh my God, the art in this issue was awful." Now I will agree with him. No, I actually didn't love it. But this is the original artist. This is Matteo Lolli, who was doing that first 5 issues that I loved, and something about this did look different. I don't think it was awful, but it wasn't what I was digging before. The hair was weird. The bodies were a little stretched out. The lines were a lot looser. The
coloring
feel different too.
In the dress, it's like from some very odd, extreme angle or so. Yeah.
If the artist is trying something different, that's great. It wasn't what I had kind of fallen in love with the first couple of issues that he drew for this series. So I get that. I don't think it was the worst ever. It just was not recognizable compared to his earlier stuff.
Agreed.
Rob Patey says, wait, she died again, and then goes on to say, after riding the ghost bullet around the galaxy. Now, to be fair, I don't think she was dead at that time. No. She just couldn't phase back into solidness.
Because the ghost bullet would...
Because of the ghost bullet. Now, Colossus was dead at that time, and him coming back to life, I believe, had something to do with her not being phased anymore.
Let's talk about the end, the big hubbub.
Right.
Hubbub, is that the right word for it? The hubbub. Not just the kill Shaw, the kiss. So you've got a reborn Kitty who has a mind full of revenge because Shaw killed her, and they're keeping it to themselves. The first thing that she does, after her celebration, is she's gonna go get re-tatted up because she had, what was it, hold fast?
Yeah.
So she finds a tattoo parlor. It's about to close. Throws down a bunch of money. They have a really amazing exchange of the tattoo artist is kind of like, "Are you sure you want to do this on your knuckles?" And her response is, "It's the man who hurt me." And she's like, "Got it.
Say no more."
Yeah, say no more. And then Kitty lays one on her, gives her a kiss when they say goodbye, which I did not know until Brandon brought it to our attention. That was all over online, that Kitty historically, or for a long time by Chris Claremont, has been kind of coded as bisexual.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Brandon had mentioned it. So I guess previous writers have kind of, not unlike how they did with, not unlike how Peter David did with Iceman, with Bobby, just kind of like slowly coding him as what?
Well, I have a question. Speaking of that, what's up with the Rachel scene?
Apparently, they also were, or hinted at as having had a relationship or at least an interest. I didn't know that at all until Brandon pointed that out.
I didn't realize.
That was part of the earlier stories, kind of like implying that they had, like, behind the panels had kind of a relationship.
I love what's happening with Hickman's X-Men and how just everybody.
Yeah.
There's like free love, man. Everyone. Yeah.
Which is a very sort of new society thing to do. Right? Why be bound up by the shames and strictures of the old ways?
Yeah,
you know?
I was gonna say, like, remove all of the things that kind of guide us towards whatever we assume or believe our predilections lie. Right. Remove death from the equation. Remove afterlife from the equation, remove all of these things, and it's just like
also old enmities, like old
Yeah.
grudges are dissolved in this world. You know, that
Remove
kind of thing. Yeah.
aging. Just
Yeah.
remove it all, and it's just like, of course, like they never tried it before, but now that there's absolutely no real stakes,
Give it a shot.
yeah, why don't they share, Gene? Why don't?
Yeah, there's plenty of
why don't they-
time and love, and everybody's into it. So
I love it.
Gene's
It's
sharing
I
them.
find it
Everybody.
very
Now,
cute and charming.
that being said, no matter your personal journey, it is not necessarily appropriate to kiss someone out of the blue who just told you that they have a date later that night. And, you know, now she does kind of, it's written in such a way that the girl is not too tied to this date. She was just kind of going out, and Kitty throws the money at her for the tattoo. And she's like, all right, you're my date now. Could be a lot of subtext during that tattoo that we don't see on panel.
Mhm.
But she just kind of kissed her out of nowhere, you know? So,
Yeah,
still, very cool statement.
On the screen, I like Brandon's assessment of it too, because I felt the same way. I didn't know. So he writes, I think it's more than that, though. It's not just, hey, you're hot, let's fuck, but more, I've come back to life, and I realize what's truly important to me, and you're a part of that.
This is Rachel, I think he's talking about.
I think he's talking about Kitty's like journey to the kiss, right? I read it because I didn't know anything about this, like previously coded. Chris Claremont wanted her to be bisexual. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I read it as, you're in a new body. Mm-hmm. You've come through a tumultuous experience. You are in the moment constantly, and you just discovered something about yourself, and you acted on it. That's it. Like I just took it as a, you know, not a reintroduction of something, or a retroactively or retcon. It just was in the moment. She was new and wanted to feel this.
I read it exactly
which I thought was
the
great.
same way. Yeah, without having known, you know, like you, what Brendan had mentioned. That's what I thought too. Was just like, I am a totally different person. That's been the arc of Kate Pride through Marauders. Mm-hmm. Has been, I am not who I once was. I will be whoever I want to be, which is a great lesson for anyone to learn.
Yeah. No, I've really been enjoying Kate's progression throughout this Hickman era.
Yeah.
Todd Engel says, regarding rereading Astonishing X-Men, I can see allusions to Bobby, but I don't really see anything leading up to Kitty. It's fine, I guess, but it seemed a little bit out of the blue. Like when she was dating Bobby, she was like, he doesn't seem that into me.
Well, I think this was before Astonishing, is because Claremont, I mean, I guess is
Claremont
predominantly where, and from what Brandon said, I think that was predominantly was Claremont that was coding.
Yeah. And also, too, it's as bisexual, not as closeted gay. So she's still attracted to Peter, to Colossus. She's still attracted to Bobby. She was still like, those relationships aren't null anymore. It's just more, hey, I kind of dig that. There's a lot of people that are bisexual that have never actually had a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Like,
well, I think also I read it a little bit that way too. Todd Engel's comment, but I think he was saying that when she was talking about he doesn't seem that into me, I think he was saying that was seeding it for Bobby's character development.
He's mentioning that he hasn't noticed any of that coding or seeded for Kitty explicitly, but I think it predates what he's giving an example of.
I mean, I didn't either.
I mean, I don't like Chris Claremont's writing, so I've not read any of it. You tell me what came out of it, because I'm not going to go back and read it.
Yeah. I'm interested in synopses of Dark Phoenix Saga or whatever, but
link me the Wikipedia page so I could just read the outline of events, and then we're good.
All right, let's move on to Milestone Returns 0, written by Reginald Hudlin and Greg Pak, with art by Jim Lee, Dennis Cohen, Ryan Benjamin, Bill Sienkiewicz, Koi Pham, and more. Milestone Returns number 0 is a 17-page sampler which will be available to read for 24 hours. You're running out of time, y'all. Written by Reggie Hudlin and blah, blah, blah. The sampler will introduce and reintroduce fans to Milestone characters such as Static Shock, Icon, Rocket, Duo, and others. The sampler features art by blah, blah, blah. I already mentioned that. Milestone Returns February 2021. So yesterday and today, the DC Fandom Part 2 event is happening at, I think, DCFandom.com. And for 24 hours, there's two things that you could do. I don't know if it ends at 1 o'clock. I think it started at 1 yesterday. You
But
could
it might
watch.
be the 1 Pacific time, actually.
You could watch Superman, The Man of Tomorrow. Is that the name of the new animated film?
It is.
And there is a sampler that you could read only on their website. You can't even download it. You read it on the site. And that's this Milestone Returns #0. So, fellas, I do not have a lot of experience with the original Milestone DC run.
Mm-hmm.
All of these new characters that had popped up. I don't even think at the time I knew it was DC. I thought it was just another like indie, back then they were dropping indie books, indie publishers like every week.
Yeah.
And I couldn't keep up with them and it just didn't really hit my radar. Since then, I have heard the love for Milestone and how everyone wants to come back. The biggest character I think was Static, who had his own cartoon called Static Shock, which I recently watched on the DC app and it's very good.
Oh, you like it? Oh, that show's awesome.
Wise, but it's good. So yeah, finally, after all this time, it looks like they're going to be reintroducing the original runs of those characters, either digitally and hopefully in print. And then new series are going to be starting in February. This was a brief look at that. Did you both get a chance to read it?
Yeah, I read it.
Great. Brian, go.
All right. I really liked it. So I remember reading the introduction of Milestone back in the day, and Static and Icon and Rocket kind of stand out more in my mind. I remember there's Hardware too. I was fairly young at the time. They did a DC crossover, and so I always liked it, and I liked Static Shock, the show, a lot. And when he showed up in Justice League, I always thought that was, in the older versions of Static. And I mean, time travel. Yeah, it's great. Anyway, so I liked it. This one I really enjoyed. I loved how they characterized Icon, and he's very Superman-like. He's a man. Even more than Superman is, he's a man removed from our world because he is an alien. He's not from here. He's in a much more advanced society, and he kind of looks at us as though we are primitive, not because of our technology, but because of our attitudes about other people. He's like, you scoff at love, that kind of thing. And
it was a black Jesus, by the way.
It was indeed.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, sometimes when they include Jesus, I'm a little, in any comic, I'm like, Greek gods are fine because there's no contention about who cares how we depict Greek gods or whether or not they are real. This one, it makes a statement that there was a guy hanging on the cross in this world, for sure.
And he was a person of color.
That part is very cool, right? If you're gonna have Jesus in there, he would probably be of darker skin. He was from the Middle East, so that was cool. And it's just a guy on a cross with that. That could easily have happened and isn't part of the story at all. So anyway.
It was an illustrative example of how we as a society or a culture scoff at the idea of love conquers all.
Yeah, exactly.
And the best example of the greatest example of that story wise is the story of Jesus Christ.
That's
whether you worship it or not, it's essentially, the version of that story of he was just trying to get you to like everybody, and you crucified him, like in
Good Omens. What did he do? He wanted everyone to love each other. Well, that wasn't going to work. Yeah.
No.
I'm reminded also a much more recent and maybe smaller story of Rodney King. It was such a laughing stock when people were like, oh, can't we all just get along? What is so funny? What about can't we all just get along? You know what I mean? That is a wonderful statement. And I love Icon's removed compassionate perspective on this, and Rocket gets him to every so often he tries to help, and this is one of those times. I like Static. I like his new costume is very cool. My one potential misgiving about this whole thing is that now we can't have Static and Icon interact with the main DC heroes, or maybe we can. We're still not sure. Well, I don't know if this is in the same universe.
It is. They're just in Dakota. Yeah.
Okay, that's great then. because there's also a lot to be said for them in a world where they're on their own, like it was originally in the original Milestone. That's very cool.
I got the impression that it was. So, okay. I've never read any of this.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with it. I bought the first issues of Hardware and Icon, and they all came polybagged.
Oh yeah.
with amazing they all came polybagged with like amazing borders and stuff, like DC beautiful colors and like first issue, and it actually said on the polybag, never not yet touched by human hands. So even though I owned them, I was afraid to open them, and I never did, and never read them. They're in storage somewhere, maybe gone forever. I don't know. So I remember all of this. I didn't read any of it. So if they made changes in here, no clue. If they,
they did.
No clue at all.
Yeah, I don't remember too much. Oh, you know what? One change that I know you and I had mentioned. Icon's costume. He used to have this cool like ring thing and a green cape that tied into the ring. But I really came around to this one in this issue. I was like, all right, this is cooler than I gave it credit for at first.
It's one of my favorite colors. I miss the green.
Yeah.
I really miss the green. Like, I'm cool with the new like logo and stuff here. I really like that. But like this red cape that kind of flows with it, it's not unlike what they gave Jonathan Kent in Deceased. Yeah. And I hate that too.
Oh, I like that.
The cape that looks like it's a part of the top of the shoulder, like it just all flows in. It's not attached. Just really weird to me. Yeah. But that's minutia. Yeah. This book itself was great, and the fact that they changed, I guess they changed, or Static's origin is at a Black Lives Matter protest that becomes riotous, and he gets killed.
No, or maybe in this one he does. He doesn't usually in his origin. He gets exposed to this gas that gives, but it was a gang fight. So everybody else that was exposed to the gas were, gang members. And
well, I mean, it's so essentially he was at a Black Lives Matter protest, got in a fight with some bullies who were probably Blue Lives Matter or something. And they all got gassed, and they all have power. So he's got superpowered bullies. Yeah. That's so on the nose. It's great. Like, it's not even on the nose. That's the nose. That's the entire nose.
It's like that bed of noses that we were talking about before. Yeah.
I really liked this. This, like, I had no idea what was new and what wasn't. I had no idea, like, but I didn't even, like, there's a couple of these, like, little interstitials where they introduce characters and stuff. They don't even give names. I don't know if this is like there was a couple of times, the one that you're showing, this is, I don't know who this is. This person. They don't tell me who it's supposed to be, this vigilante. They don't even, like, in conversation, like, Jimmy is terrible. Like, I don't know who the fuck this is.
I don't think he's the good guy either. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. Same with the couple who are stuck together inside the mind of. I don't know who they are. Yeah. I don't know what superhero that's supposed to be or what they're named. They give us Rocket, Icon, and Static. Everyone else is just kind of like, look it up, which I appreciate.
They are Zombie spelled with an X as the first letter. I'm not 100% sure.
You could, I mean, sure.
All right.
This was, as a primer issue. Yeah. This was fun.
Yeah.
It gave me a lot of breadcrumbs. It didn't feel, even though there was no resolution whatsoever to this story, it was just a preview issue, and it was good. It was fun. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I hated their reader.
Oh, you couldn't go full screen. Yeah, that was annoying.
Hated it. They make you click through each panel to make it easier to read when really it's just more frustrating.
Oh, you did not have to do that, actually.
You didn't have to do that. Look.
Yeah.
No, I know, but on my computer, it was either like I wanted to blow things up manually myself, and I couldn't do that.
I gotcha. And also, at least for me, the little box that said DC and the options window continually shaded the lower right hand of the page that I was reading, which was annoying. JD, what did you think about it?
I really liked it. I think the only thing that how do I stop that? There we go. Yeah, it was very interesting. I'm looking forward to more Milestone. I'm actually in the process of going back and revisiting or visiting for the first time the original Milestone stuff. I will say about this particular issue, though, and I don't know if it's entirely a negative comment, but it felt like it was written for all ages.
I think it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's good, right? So, like, as a longtime reader, I could have used a little bit more nuance, but as something that I think they're trying to appeal to a broader and younger audience to bring them into comics through these representative stories, I think it's good.
Well, I think that is a big part of, like, Static is a teenager, and Icon seems to be the main character, but if I remember from the actual story, it was really Rocket was, like, the viewpoint character.
She even says, like, he's my sidekick. It's Rocket's the main character. At least that's how I took it. The story starts with her. So
the other thing is I understand why Brian was a little confused about the continuity, because they don't really mention other superheroes all that much, despite the fact that the world is plumb full of superheroes.
Right. And even the guy at the end, like, he only shows people from this story structure. And they say certain things that you would think if you knew about Superman and Green Lantern, you wouldn't say, you know.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I presumed this is part of the universe that just isn't talked about. Also, too, previously in the last couple of years, Icon is a part of DC continuity.
It's true. And so is Static. I mean, he was in the Teen Titans. Icon and Rocket are on Young Justice.
They've done work to integrate these characters into other media and then other books over the last couple of years. I just assumed it's just a corner we don't talk about. It's just not unlike how when they introduced the Runaways, like, we don't talk about LA that much. This is what's happening over there. Like, you just like, they don't talk about Dakota.
This is already a different origin for Static, I believe, than his New 52 origin. But there's a lot of continuity changes going on at the moment.
But, like, you had mentioned this feels all ages, JD. That's a perfect segue into the next quick book.
Well, Represent #1 by Christian Cooper and Aletha Martinez. Jules, a black teenager, is given a pair of old binoculars as he heads out for a morning of bird watching in Central Park. He soon learns the binoculars show him a lot more than birds, and maybe they keep him safe, too. Noel, you read this?
I did. It is a very quick 16-page story of a kid birding for the first time with old binoculars from his grandfather, which the story is inspired by Christian Cooper's experience in Central Park birding and then a woman with their dog unleashed threatens to call the cops on him because he asked her to put it on a leash. So, like, that large thing that happened. He is the writer of this. It is an all ages short story. As he is looking for birds or at birds, he sees almost like ghost images of people in the view of the binoculars. And they are people that have been killed by the police. So he sees Breonna Taylor, and then they give a brief history of what happened. He sees George Floyd. He sees Amon. Hang on, I've got it here. He sees all these people, and then while he's, like, seeing it and then looking for birds at the same time, a woman's dog comes and attacks a bird that he's looking at, and then you get a bit of a recreation of what happened. It is a very all ages book. It is very, very well done for what it is, but it is not a. It's not the beginning of a story. This is like for 10-year-olds understanding their history in the place, kind of a thing. It's very good, but it's a very specific type of read.
Is this the beginning of? Because it has a subtitle. Are there to be more issues of?
I think it's anthologies of some sorts. Not
Oh, right.
So the way it ends, and, like, it's not they don't really bunches. Like, he's looking, and then an old man comes and yells at him for being near his property. This woman in the park threatens him because he tells her to leash the dog, and he kind of turns his back and walks away on her, which felt even more ominous to me. Like she's yelling at him, don't turn your back on me. I'm like, oh my God, that he still could get killed right now by just doing that. Like, but yeah, this is a purely educational kind of story. It's very good. I mean, this would be great for a classroom.
Why does Brandon keep saying scroll?
I don't know.
What does scroll mean?
I think he wants you to read from a scroll.
Maybe he's talking about the Krees and the Scrolls?
Probably. That's autocorrect.
Robert says, with all the focus on YA with this book and changes at DC, JD, how many kids are subscribers? Not as many as adults. But I guess that's the point, right?
To interest.
Well, I mean, how many kids would be subscribers? Their adults would be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day.
The flexible income of an 8-year-old?
Well, true. But, like maybe just the general, like you see new adults coming into the store, right? Yeah. Like people who have not previously
for their kids.
Oh, well, that makes sense too.
So,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think I guess I'm pushing back on Rob. I don't think that's a measurable metric of how many new kids are now subscribers. It's how much YA stuff are you selling? Because they're not going to
selling a lot of YA stuff.
Yeah, they're not going to come and get bought by the kids. Like,
yeah,
that's an excellent point.
All right, we got 2 more books.
The scroll at the bottom. It still says Marauders. That's what he's referring
scroll.
To.
It was not a command. It was a noun.
Thank you. I thought he was telling me to scroll.
There we go.
You're right. Thank you.
Also, if you want more attention, you could shoot at the text thread that we're all on. That's not here. That would work too. That's a different ding.
Although sometimes I don't look at that when we're in the middle of a show. I'm like,
that's true.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Very true.
Let's see. Hawkman number 27 by Robert Venditti and Fernando Pasarin. Let's see. Hawks Reborn. Hawkman and Hawkwoman receive the precious gift of life one last time and return to the past where they were happiest, back with the JS of A. But nostalgia is not all it's cracked up to be with the Injustice Society on the loose. And who's the mysterious figure plotting to cut Hawkman's life short from the shadows? I don't know. Noel, do you know?
Nope, had no clue. That was my first question. Who is the guy at the cliffhanger with the hole in his chest? I have no idea who the hell that is.
I also don't know, but it might have been the guy. In some retellings, there is somebody that they wronged. It was in the Justice League cartoon, and it was Jon Stewart. But that might be this guy. I think in Legends of Tomorrow, it was Vandal Savage, but usually it's just a Hawkman-centric character in their Egyptian life when they were Khufu and Che'ar.
I mean, the dude looks okay.
Well, reborn. He gets reborn too.
Oh, I was gonna say like he's whiter than white. If it's somebody that's from their Egyptian times.
Yeah.
This was fine. I don't read Hawkman. It was fine.
Yeah.
As a just jumping in issue, like I got the gist that when they die, they get reborn. For some reason, they were able to pick which time frame of their lives they could come back into. However, they look like they do to themselves, and it was fun.
Quantum leap kind of thing.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. I don't care.
All right.
I'm interested in caring because I have the Jeff Johns run that I'm eventually going to read that everyone says is amazing.
Oh yeah.
But I don't care for Robert Venditti very much.
Oh okay.
So the writer's work doesn't appeal to me, and the character is not one that I follow. So this is a perfect storm of me being indifferent.
All right.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that it reminded me of Black Widow last week.
Oh, that was your perfect storm of indifference? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, well done enough. Not interested. So, but this one I really liked because Hawkman is not one that I always read, but I think he's cool. I like the Egyptian reincarnation aspect of it and all that stuff, and he, fights with the weapons of yesterday was something like his original tagline. And I like, in this time of continuity, jello-ness, flexibility, we have an entry of the Justice Society was around in the 1940s. They were the JSA that you know from pre-New 52 continuity, that kind of thing. So I like that.
That was why this book was fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
Those like 3 scenes in the middle of the JSA fighting with Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Yeah. Amazing. I want a JSA book, and I'm excited for that.
This was some cool classic JSA stylings too,
The framing around it was like, okay. Yeah. But the JLA and their classic villains and stuff, I was like, just give me this. But that also happened. I forget which book it was. Was it like the Flash anniversary book, the 750 that had
it was a Jay Garrick
story, but it was a JSA story, and it was drawn by David Marquez, and it was amazing. I was like, holy shit, can this just be its own book? I want JSA. So in regards to this giving me a little bit of JSA,
you're into that. Nice. I mean, that was a big part of why I really liked it too. I also like seeing, so I've been watching, I finished the first season of Stargirl, and the Gambler is one of the main characters, and I don't really have a lot of experience with him in the comics, so it was kind of cool to see him show up here, and I was like, it's the Gambler.
Which one's
He's the guy in the purple suit, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's Wesley Dodd. That guy?
No, the guy that Wesley Dodd is
purple
fighting.
suit. Got it. Sorry.
I just don't think he's been used that much since the Golden Age, And at least in Stargirl, he calculates probabilities and all that kind of thing, which is a cool way for them to take him if they do have him show up more. Alan Scott with the train is excellent, countering the magician there. It was interesting as a jumping on point because it clearly is right after this very major change. That train thing is cool. It's clearly after this major change, but it's also the beginning of something different. I know a little bit about what happened. They were involved in some massive fights. They went back through all their lives, and now they're not going to be reborn anymore, but they got to choose one more life to live, and they picked their instantaneous favorite was the 1940s life where they were in the JSA.
So, I mean, that sounds cool. That sounds cool as a jumping on point to a different series. So this book has been canceled.
Oh, really?
Issue 28 in December is like the last one. So if you think this is the beginning of a new expansive arc, it is not.
I mean, I guess maybe it was supposed to be, but
it could be the beginning of a new status quo where these are now past characters with the JSA, tell a different story altogether. Cool.
I bet the fact that we see them seeing themselves as their modern characters, that scene is awesome, where he wipes Projegaton, wipes the floor on. Since we're on that, the classic comic booking of the JSA, where they beat everyone, and it turns out that Brainwave, the guy who can cause them to, see illusions, has been causing them to see illusions, and now, it turns out that they don't have the upper hand at all, and they win with the last second throw of maces hitting each other, which I guess is a power that their maces have now. That was a cool twist. That was a cool turn in the story.
This the JSA bit of this book was cool. As soon as it became a Hawkman stories, I didn't care. And that includes the cliffhanger ending that I don't understand. That's a cool thing in comics, or a cool or annoying thing in comics that happens a lot, where they will have like a until they get a load of me kind of ending. And there's always a portion of the audience that's like, who the fuck is that? Am I supposed to know who that is?
I mean,
and that's how I felt this time.
I think it works even if we don't. I wasn't sure. He might be the guy that I said. He might not be.
It looks like Oliver Queen.
He does
straight up looks like Oliver Queen. So
the fact that we see them in their modern garb, where they see themselves in their older garb, I don't think that they will end with them just living out their time in the 40s.
Hmm.
They may go back to that and then live there for a while, but we'll see them again in the future. Hopefully we see the JSA in the present and they'll be part of it, you know?
JD, what'd you think?
Oh, I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big Hawkman guy. I do want to read that Jeff Johns run. And Randy, our son, the voice of reason, friend of the show, he has been talking it up that this Robert Venditti run on Hawkman has just been phenomenal. So, you know, Randy's a good hype man. When he loves something, man, he really gets you want to check it out. So I've been very curious about it. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that this is part 1 of Final Justice. But then I guess part 2 is the end. I don't know if it was originally supposed to be a 2-parter storyline, but
seems kind of bigger than that, doesn't it?
Or
does.
wait,
It
I'm sorry,
does.
3. It's maybe it's issue 29. There's 2.
okay.
There's 2 more issues left.
But like
okay.
you said, this could lead into a new status quo. They could even end up with Hawkman and Hawkwoman they're back in the 40s, so they don't remember any of the present stuff, but somehow the whole JSA is in the present. And
I would sample a JSA book.
for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Just always depends on the creative team, but
Yeah.
JSA gets at least one blind purchase.
Yeah. And I like that they're back. You know, I liked that Superman was the first superhero, and when it was post-crisis, pre-New 52, I was like, oh, that would be cool if he was the first superhero again. But I really grew to love the JSA being part of continuity. And,
Well, it's Wonder Woman now. Wonder Woman is
that's
the first
true.
superhero.
and that makes sense for
And
Wonder
then
Woman.
that begat JSA. Yeah.
Right. And it's just you get something when you have Superman as the first in the modern times, but you also lose something when they don't have the previous generation of heroes that they really built up into a really cool thing in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, you know?
Agree.
Yeah. So, all right, Superman number 25, the scroll tells us, is what we'll talk about now, by Brian Michael Bendis and Ivan Rice. Or is it Reese? I don't know.
Well, it's Rice. Well, Reese. Sorry. So Superman number 25, written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Ivan Reese. New villain alert. Introducing Sinmar, a colossal new threat to Superman, the planet Earth, and the DC universe arrives on the scene in this special issue. The unique warrior called Sinmar was created to represent an entire alien race. He's trained his entire life, but for what purpose? As the antithesis of everything Superman stands for, Sinmar launches his aggression toward Earth to destroy the Man of Steel and every being on the planet. This is what Superman was born to protect us from. What'd you think?
I thought it was good. I have a nagging familiarity with this Sinmar guy, and I feel like they mentioned something about Thanagar in here, and that's where I seem to remember him from like Ran Thanagar War. Not him, but a member of that species who has like a red face with the kind of pointed forehead and blue.
I thought it was a new design altogether.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on it, and I don't
think it's
know.
new.
Yeah, if I come up with it, I'll let you know. But I mean, this guy is new, and they certainly pitch it as new. But
No,
I don't know.
I think the race itself is new.
Okay.
The Sinmar? Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
did like when they were like, these Earth people that don't even know about us, probably. They're like, oh, they definitely don't know about us. Speaking of their newness, yeah.
So I liked this issue. I actually liked this issue a lot, but I didn't like it immediately. Like it kind of washed over me. Because it's an oversized issue and it tries to accomplish two things at once.
Yeah.
You've got dating back to the very destruction of Krypton, this council of Sinmar kind of observing things and trying to figure out how to respond. Like, it's fine. Oh, there's one capsule that's heading somewhere. Where's it heading? It's heading to Earth. It's backwards, whatever. Well, the physiology of this person on that planet is going to possibly create a god. Should we intervene? No, let's wait and see what happens. So you've got these kind of like watchers, and then it scoots over to current day with Clark Kent giving an exclusive interview to Lana Lang, who works for the competing publication of the Daily Planet, the Daily Star in Metropolis.
which was the first place that Clark Kent worked in the very early days. I love it when they bring in the Daily Star.
Yeah. So you've this new history of an alien race who is responding to the existence of Superman or the potential of Superman. At the same time, juxtaposed against a conversation that he's having in real time in the current day about his journey between two characters that have a shit ton of history. So it at first blush, it seemed jumbled, but then as I was reading it, the kind of connection between the two was revealed, and I was like, oh, that's pretty subtle, and I like it.
Now,
but
wait, by the connection between the two, you mean
telling two different stories,
right?
But
the
thematically they're connected. So the idea of this entire alien race monitoring what will happen with this boy, with this child, but at the same time, you've got someone, Lana Lang, who has known him his entire life and thinking back on it and monitoring his growth.
Oh, that's an interesting. I didn't think of that parallel. That is interesting.
It was such a wonderful, kind of idea that I think really worked, and it worked so well that I almost didn't even notice it.
Yeah, that's cool.
But then I was slightly confused by the motivations of the Sinmar. So they are a warring race, right? They created this. They're almost like a Big Brother type of thing.
Yeah, I thought it might have been like they create him just in case.
Well, they create the military apparatus creates this response to Superman. So they essentially radicalized this younger soldier for decades to get him to be a response to Superman if it ever happens. It never happens. He doesn't know that he's been lied to for decades until one of the leaders gets drunk and is just like, to think that we started you because of Superman, whatever. So his motivation being, my life's a lie. I have no idea what I'm here for or why. And I was built and created to respond to Superman. So you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go respond. I liked that motivation, but it was almost too subtle, because it took me reading 2 or 3 pages more than once to be like, oh, I think that's what he's doing. So it felt too subtle, which is something you never say.
Confusing.
But overall, I loved this issue. I've been loving this run, and this was just more of it. I like when when Bendis has been doing new stuff. The arc before this was a whole new magic character, and Superman's one of his weaknesses is magic, and I thought that was really, really cool. He's trying things, and what if a bureaucratic warring nation decided to manufacture a Superman? How would that work?
Who also seems to
cool
be
ideas.
A pretty decent guy, but will he's not a hateful villain. He may become one, but he isn't now, and so it would be interesting to see how that goes. I guess that's the Leviathan stuff. JD is what they're referencing there that you're showing on screen. Yeah. Now I do have a continuity sort of. How it's not that big of a deal, but how does this fit in? We've got Superman in flashbacks when he's talking to Lana, that he's got first that one where it's the New 52 costume and Justice League, and then later you've got his post New 52 and pre New 52 Superman merging costume, where you've got the gold thing in the belt, but still no trunks, red trunks. And you've got Lana Lang, who knew him as Superboy, but also has her New 52 history. How does this work? And I thought those costumes were no longer in continuity now that they've merged.
They were.
Are they still, even though their histories have merged? If he was Superboy, I don't think the Grant Morrison Action Comics stuff happened in this continuity. I don't know.
So all those costumes did exist, because they make a joke at the beginning of this run. They kind of make a joke about it, how the trunks are back.
Oh, okay.
Because
So he
all of those guys,
started
Yeah.
with Trunks, then he
Well,
switched.
he started
back to
without. So he's like in new continuity when he was a kid.
Yeah.
That's Trunks. And then showing up in like the Justice League origin stuff, the happenstance of the Justice League in Jeff Johns stuff. That was no Trunks. That was like alien looking thing.
Right.
And then there was like a costumey version of the no Trunks.
Right.
And then Trunks.
Right.
And then back, like, it's weird.
And then here we are.
But
Trunks he was Superboy in the classic
yeah.
Superboy Superman costume.
So
okay.
I got the impression that the Trunks being back is a reference to Superboy, not career Superman for 5 years, because it's only supposed to be 5 or 6 years, right?
Well, now I'm not so sure
on the scene
anymore.
Well,
yeah.
Even the merged versions of them.
Yeah.
This world has only known.
Right. Well, but now
Superman
you've also got
5 or 6
like
years.
Doomsday Clock may or may not have added back in some of the time that was removed. I don't know. Hopefully at the end of Death Metal, we'll know a little bit.
This is a goddamn mess.
Hold on. Doomsday Clock also introduced the idea that the new 52 is its own like timeline.
Exactly. And is done with. Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But I love the idea that they brought in the Superwoman, the Lana Lang having powers for a short amount of time. I like that.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Although whoever designed that logo for that book, Superwoman's.
Well, wait. There was though, because it was Lois Lane and
was
Lana.
Also. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
and Lois Lane Superwoman's.
with her symbol right after the name. Yeah.
If this was him just gleefully cherry picking continuity to tell his story, fuck it, I'm down. That's fine. Because no one's using those pieces right now because they're afraid to. So just whatever he wants. Whatever gets you there, right?
Like I said, it's not that big of a deal. And we are in DC at a very unstable point in continuity, it seems. And
I love the Thin Mars design.
Yeah, they're cool.
That is so cool what you're showing, yeah. Ivan Rice like kills it with those designs. Like I love the light source from within them.
Yeah.
And how that like as they're getting like angrier or more emotional, it just kind of brightens up. And
and they say light a lot.
Oh yeah.
They do. They are into that concept. Yeah. Come into the light, get out of my light. You're in my light.
So what is this? We have 3 issues left now. So Bendis is potentially leaving the book. It's not officially announced, but
well, here's the thing, right? So it says that he's leaving Superman and Action, but he tweeted just a couple months ago, yeah, I'm planning on leaving, but that is way off in the far, far future. Don't even think about it right now. So I wonder if maybe he's just leaving, maybe those books are ending and he's going to be moving forward with another Superman type book or something. I don't know.
It could, or his own, like somebody, I mean, hopefully they won't end Action Comics again.
It could be. It could be any number of things. Like his run could turn into something else, and they've done this before. Like him explicitly has done this shit before. With we're ending the Avengers. Fuck them. And then there's a new title. It's New Avengers or it's Mighty Avengers. Like I don't.
And, who knows where he could have been planting seeds that will be in Legion of Superheroes for all we know.
I don't know.
You know,
but if it is him just like leaving these 2 books, I'm a little upset. I've genuinely been enjoying this run. Yeah, both of them. Like it's a net positive overall, even when it's been like weird issues here and there. Yeah, and I don't know. Like that would suck if he's being like pushed off the book.
I doubt Brian Michael Bendis is getting pushed off of any book, right? But who knows? I mean, you know, no matter who you are, if the book isn't selling well, then you get pushed off the book.
But that's just the thing; it is selling.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like somebody like it's not a top 10 book, but comparatively to the title before he was on it, it's selling more than. So like
it's also possible
selling
that
like
they editorially want to go in a particular direction for the brand of DC as a whole, and he'd rather do something else. So they're like, all right, tell your story, but action will be something else, you know?
Yeah, they did it with Tom King too. I think like the end of his Batman run was supposed to be what is now going to be the Batman and Catwoman miniseries.
Okay.
So maybe it's something like that where we still get a continuation, but either way, it's been almost 70 issues of him over 2+ years. Like the 6-issue lead-in, the Man of Steel, and then nearly 30 issues of action, nearly 30 issues of Superman, and then not even counting the special tie-ins for the reveal, where like the heroes and villains issues, the Leviathan issues, the whole Leviathan
and Legion is classically linked to the Superman mythos too.
That's a Superman family book. So like not counting Legion, not counting Young Justice. This is like nearly 100 issues of Bendis working on Superman. So it's not been a flash in the pan. However, if it does end, it feels premature, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll
but
see what happens.
I'm enjoying this run, and I can't wait to have it collected.
Sweet. Yeah.
But we can move on to the
Let's see.
last. Oh my God, that might have been the last book.
Was it?
Yeah, I think that was the last book.
Oh, wow. Well, in that case, I'll say, since we're looking at it now, Ivan Rice is really great at space stuff.
Yeah.
Too, you know? I mean, he was a lot of the Green Lantern,
The
Blackest
back half of
Night,
it.
and that stuff was great.
I like Brandon's comment. Everything happened except the bad stuff, which didn't.
I mean, that's
unofficial motto.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Whatever we like, we keep.
Yeah.
Samuel David says feels premature.
It does. So that makes me hope or think that it's just going to like transform, not end.
Yeah.
There is one more book actually that we didn't talk about.
What?
The Ultraman.
Oh
my God.
Rise of Ultraman. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. You thought you were rid of us.
And you could be. I mean, it's up to you. Nobody's forcing you to
we're
watch
talking about Ultraman.
what we're doing.
You better stick around or we're going to come and get you.
Oh, man. I can't believe I almost forgot my favorite book this week.
Was it?
Well,
really?
It's not in the notes. Is it?
Yeah. Maybe not.
Nope, not in the notes. All right, shoot.
Forgot it to the core.
Well, Rise of Ultraman came out this week.
Oh, interesting.
Vamp for a second, I'll find it.
Let's see. It seemed to be by somebody named Higgins. It says on the cover.
Kyle Higgins and Matt Broom.
There we go. I couldn't find the title page.
Oh my God! They put the title page like up there in the middle of the friggin' book. Written by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom with art by Francesco Manna. Also, there's some Ed McGuinness in there. There's some Guru Hiru. Lots of cool art. I thought this book was great. I don't have a lot of experience with Ultraman, like maybe what's his name does. Carl's. He knows Ultraman. So this is my first real experience with Ultraman, other than seeing like the cool costume and the shoots a beam. But yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think one of my main issues with the book is that the artist Francesco Manna doesn't really seem to draw Asian people. He draws white people. Like the woman has kind of Asian eyes, but all the men just look like white guys to me. Maybe this is my eye, but you know, the other artist, Mike Cho, is that Michael Cho?
Yeah, you said Ed McGuinness. It's not. It's Mike Cho.
So
do you want this?
There's also Ed McGuinness, but Mike Cho does it, and boy, that work looks amazing. So yeah, that's when I went, oh look, they are supposed to be Asian. Michael Cho drew them as Asian. The previous artist did not. So that was just a tiny, tiny little tidbit. Otherwise, I thought the issue was great. What did you think, Brian?
So I was in a similar boat. I have seen Ultraman like on a clip in TV or something like that. Like I know it exists. I always thought he had a cool costume. I am not really into the kaiju genre, you know?
Sure.
And I kind of suspected also he was one of those guys that like wasn't as powerful as I would like him to be, kind of, or he could just get really large or something like that. But, I was very intrigued to read this issue to see what the story with Ultraman was. Unfortunately, we did not get that, which I was a little upset about because I was curious as to what it was. If I can bring up a nitpick from the third page, it's the first page of the modern time. Next one, I think. There we go. So on the phone that she's got right there, right? There we go. The phone that she's got right there, they show this conversation that happens that requires time to pass for the conversation. And yet the times for the phones are all 1 minute after each other, although they did happen, some of them on different days. And I was a little like, you went to the effort to put a time in. Why not make it 3:45 so that the necessary time for the dialogue happened?
I think I hate you.
That is a nitpick.
I said it was a nitpick.
Correct.
I said it was a nitpick, but it really, I saw it and I was like, because I think it's cool. I think it's cool when
That's
artists do
awesome.
that. Like it's a cool little thing when they think to do the times that work,
I'll counter when we find out who those are from. It's not like a desperate date. It's this dude that failed out who is desperately trying to get her attention and more information from her. So I was like, yeah, he's not waiting. Like,
all right. I could accept that.
He's been following her, which we find out too.
That's true too.
Because he's got the same tech. I thought that this was awesome.
Yeah.
Just straight up awesome.
Tell us more.
Like, I had pulled up the previews, but whatever. This is great. The whole the beginning part, the main story, it's all just set up and a peek of what might happen because Ultraman is coming and what it is, but I have no idea who the hell it is. I've never watched the show.
Yeah, like a few pages at the end, just like a little. Here's Ultraman. After that cliffhanger.
If there were no backups, I would feel upset. Like, oh, that's nothing. Yeah. But the backup stories were so fucking awesome that they made me want more of this world. So the intro story was nice. It felt like a zero issue, which sometimes bothers me, especially when they don't give you more. But then as soon as they get into the Michael Cho backup story, talking about like the history of this world and the organizations and the origin of the organizations in that awesome 1950s feel and style. Oh my God. Like amazing. If there's something like that every issue, holy shit, this is the best thing ever. Like it's new like New Frontier style. It's beautiful. This book is awesome. And then it all ends with that big old Ed McGuinness, classic DC, here's what's coming kind of way that Jeff Johns used to do. A splash page of the book in the future. The entire, I think the review of just the main story is like a B. It's just nice. I like the characters a lot. The pacing is good, but it's a little empty because it only gives you like the preamble of the plot. The whole package, A minus.
Yeah. Actually, just give me the Michael Cho. That's an A right there. This Michael Cho storyline was great.
I didn't read that story.
Christ.
So we get through. It doesn't give me. I was like, all right, that was fun, but it was a lot of preamble and nothing happened. Then you get this like kaiju steps thing, and I was like, I don't feel like reading the jokey thing. And then we got to the next thing. I think it was late, like Thursday night or something. And it's not that I didn't intend to read it, but I was like, this is Ultraman before we even get to the main character. It's a spy thing. And I didn't read it.
What I like about this, though, is that the book is not about Ultraman. The book is about the people. And I like the people so far. Yeah. And now they're introducing this clandestine organization, a multinational organization to deal with this weird threat of kaiju. And this is awesome.
To be fair, it's called The Rise of Ultraman.
It is. Yeah. This does look cool. This the monster that JD's got up on screen now, that is pretty cool. Like this does look like a well illustrated and interesting
It also looks like a dude in a suit, sort of.
It does. It does. And not as big as they sometimes are, right? Like it's just like a little bigger than a person.
All of it so far, I'm getting the impression in this world, in this version of reality so far, the kaiju have only really been that big, like the size of a car or a truck, not 10, 15 stories tall or hundreds of stories tall or however big they get. But
Ultraman does tower over buildings in the show, I believe.
Yeah,
he's building to that.
He becomes that huge. He's not always
he
that
can't
huge.
be that big. Yeah.
But I think this is all leading up to that, not necessarily the normal status quo at the beginning of this book is that kaiju are buildings tall, and we need a building tall. This is the building up to that, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
this is awesome.
Back up a try, you guys. Since
I really enjoyed this first issue. I was when I heard they were going to be doing an Ultraman comic, I didn't really have any anticipation for it. I wasn't super stoked about it. The covers look pretty cool, and I do like his costume and everything. But yeah, this was great. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to more. And it kind of makes me feel a little bit better because I know Marvel also recently acquired the rights to the Predator and Alien series, and I wasn't really stoked about those either because, for the most part, I'm not entirely sure those are most effective in comic book form, those characters, but if they get another good group on it like they've got here, I'll be into checking those out for sure. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Yeah. Anything else before we split, my fellows?
No.
Was there any DC fandom or anything that anybody was interested in? There were 2 cool trailers out, Dune and Discovery Season 3. And I'm interested in both of those things.
I did not watch the Dune trailer. I have no interest in Dune.
Okay.
But maybe this trailer will change my mind if I eventually watch it. As for the fandom, I really wanted to watch the Superman Man of Tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But I think I've got like 15 minutes left.
Yeah. I really am excited about that though. And I was hoping to catch it for free, but I don't think I will.
Yeah, I'll just wind up. I'll watch it when it comes out. I think it's out on Blu-ray now.
I think so.
But I also have the DC streaming app, so hopefully it'll show up on there before they just nuke it.
I mean, wasn't it like 3 or 4 weeks? They would usually wait, like it comes out on DVD and digital, and then like a month later it's on the DC app.
Yeah, I believe actually there's that middle stage where it is available to rent for like $3.99 or something, as opposed to which I will probably do. And even if not, I mean, HBO Max, who knows, maybe taking over for.
I didn't know. I didn't know John said that Three Jokers was in continuity, Todd.
Well, it didn't. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It seems like it's in continuity.
I mean, there was Batman on the Mobius chair was like, there's 3 Jokers. And then we didn't hear anything about it for a long time.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me that it wasn't in continuity.
Yeah.
Every and any writer can make everything in continuity. It's just the next writer to change it.
Sure.
Same with Tom King is about to do the Batman and Catwoman series. To him, that's in continuity. We'll see.
Yeah.
If it becomes beloved, people will reference it.
Yeah.
It will be in continuity.
I mean, I'm super excited for it. Did you guys read the about it?
No.
The Batman and Catwoman thing. It's told in 3 time frames. He tells the story of them meeting as adversaries, the present with them connecting as couple, and then the future. Bruce Wayne is dead, and elderly Selina is going to go and right some wrongs because he's not there to stop her, or he's not there to be disappointed in her.
That sounds pretty cool.
So you've got these 3 time frames laying out at once.
Yeah.
And how they're connected via potentially the Joker.
And so that even like continuity wise, like anything that tells the Joker story. Well, yeah.
Yeah, and also too, they're going to have a daughter. So
as Helena, who becomes the Huntress on Earth too, is frequently their daughter. Yeah.
So you've got this is it in continuity? To him it is.
Sure.
And I would like it to be. Yeah. Will it stay? Like somebody will cherry pick it or whatever. The
parts that aren't in the future could be, the parts that are the future. It's like that's always kind of a vague. Right now this is what happens to them kind of thing.
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
Right. Now, speaking of somebody with tons of money, Noel, I wonder if there's any way for our viewers to give us some of their tons of money to help the show.
That you imply I have tons of money is adorable, but then
no, I meant
there's
Bruce Wayne has tons of money.
Oh, Bruce Wayne, yes.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne is the one with tons of money. And JD, I was just wondering, Bruce Wayne is a very wealthy guy, and maybe our listeners could give away some of their wealth to us.
Oh, they sure could if they really, really wanted to. If they have a couple of extra dollars in these hard times and they decided they would like to give us money for providing them this entertainment, they could go to patreon.com/JohnnyDestructo. They could also just send us money on Venmo at JD's Hero Complex. Any way you want to do it, we'll take it.
Money thrown in through the door of your shop without them going inside.
You could do that too. You could keep social distance, and you could just wad up some dollars,
throw them in,
and some change, and just throw them right through the door.
I was going to say,
money to a brick and throw it through the window. Make sure there's enough to cover the replacement cost of the window.
Right, as long as there's money to replace.
Some for the show.
Yeah,
I actually think my favorite is loose change. Just handfuls of loose change tossed into a doorway or at the window.
Yeah, like you're trying to get the attention of your high school love, and you're outside of their bedroom window throwing up. JD, you are our high school love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But if you don't have any money and you still want to help the show and get more people to check it out, please like and click that little bell so you can get a notification, because we also do other things on the YouTube channel. We do Thunder Round videos.
Thunder Round.
Where we do 60-second reviews throughout the week. I also do an unboxing video where I will show you the new DC and Marvel and Image and all the other comics that come in every week, and I will show them to you here in the shop. And then what else do we do? Is that it?
I mean,
Nola started doing complete run reviews. What was the one we just did?
Annihilation and Annihilation Conquest. My reading habits are usually like absorb a run at the same time that I'm doing the weekly books. So when I'm done with something, we'll do a little video.
Yeah.
Interesting. Looking forward to that Lucifer video then.
Yeah, well, it's going to be the first half of the run. It's just the first,
the second.
Honestly, I am just under halfway through it. I read a chapter a day.
So you're moving. You're into it.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm on page like 450 something of 900. It's like a 900 page tome. Yeah.
Very cool. Nice. Also, a little while ago, JD asked me if I would like to do some videos, and when we kicked around some ideas, and it kind of slid my mind a little bit. But if any one of the viewers have anything that you'd like to hear from me about, we were kind of thinking like, interesting comics history, or just thoughts, or it doesn't even really have to be about comics. If there's anything that you want to hear about, then I'll maybe try to relate it to comics in some way. Let me know, whatever.
Where will people let you know this? They could email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com.
They could, and it would be cool to say that in a letter, and we could get people's input live, the other guys. But you could also reach me at brianliebdesign.com, or brianliebdesign@gmail.com is the website. The other one is, how things work on the internet. One of them's the email, the other one is the website. If you don't know about that, you're not sending me anything anyway. So, was there anything else from Fandom that struck anyone? Superman's getting a new suit. That's cool, but we didn't see the suit yet. They said they made that for like a crossover. It's not really built to be a full show suit.
The television.
Television. Yes, I'm sorry. In the television show. Yeah.
Gotcha.
There were the only announcements that I thought were kind of worth it was that they renewed Doom Patrol and the fourth season of Justice League. Young Justice.
Young Justice, which we already, I thought, sort of knew was happening, but it's nice to get. Oh, we didn't? Okay. So it's great to get confirmation. Doom Patrol, unfortunately, ends on a massive cliffhanger because it wasn't supposed to be the last episode of that. It's not a spoiler. It's because of the lockdowns and all that kind of stuff. You just don't get the final episode. So it's really good that they will be making more for their own story purposes, Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. You can reach Noel at Mr. Bartocci on Twitter. And Brian already gave his information.
Yes.
So did I. We're done here. Let's get. Oh, wait. There's one more comment. Hold on. What's that? It
And
says
it's got a subtitle: Young Justice, Phantoms.
Phantoms.
Phantoms. There we
I'm
go.
cool. I'm cool with that. Yeah,
All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk at you later.
sounds good.
Bye.